Hello, I'd like to tell you about a special vitamin called vitamin M. Of course, this doesn't exist, but it stands for the topic that I discussed with a patient today, which was motivation. So I call motivation or self-motivation vitamin M. Patients that are having difficulty getting motivated. And the issue is that for most of us, we have an awareness of the things we should do for better health, but we find difficulty getting motivated to do it. And so a lot of the times I see my office visit times with patients as opportunities to help them get motivated, to help them get refocused on the big reason why it's worth doing anything about these issues related to their health. Why should they change their diet? Why should they exercise? And there's two things that I basically focus on, which you can too. You need to take a few moments each day to do that, which is looking at what really motivates you deep down, what in your heart really moves you. And I recommend for patients to do it in two different ways. One is, what is it that you want to achieve in your life that really moves your heart? Not what's something that you'd rather have, but something that really moves you. And for a lot of people, they have these things in their life, but they've just not thought about it enough to hit on the thing that really moves their heart. And it could be something that you've thought of before, but just haven't thought of for a while, or it's something you might have not thought about too much at all in the past, but once you think about it, it really moves your heart. So a lot of times simply asking yourself the question, what do I really want out of life? And then the ideas will come into your mind. That's called the subconscious talking to you. And a lot of times the subconscious is knocking at the door, but not getting much of a hearing. So when we actually ask the question, we get in touch with what's going on in the subconscious. And that's where the clues lie as far as what really motivates us to change our lives or not, or what keeps us stuck. So if we ask the question, what do I really want to accomplish? What really moves me? Some ideas is going to come to your mind. And if you keep that in front of you, then invariably the health issues that you are facing, if you don't attend to them, they will stand as obstacles to achieving whatever that is. Because when we're in poor health, we don't achieve nearly what we can compared to when we're in good health. And the best example of this is an Olympic athlete. You know, their Olympic athletes have a fine-tuned health, at least for a few years. Later on in life, you see some of them have maintained that fine-tuned health. Some of them have really gone to pot. And you can see that that's no longer motivating them. Well, the second area that is actually even more motivating, if we can actually nail what it is what do I most fear to happen to me? And most people don't fear dying as much as they fear pain. Now, everybody fears dying to some extent, unless there's something wrong with their brain. But some people are much more afraid of long-term suffering than pain, than of dying. And one of those types of long-term is chronic pain. Well, one of the most common causes of this chronic pain is, believe it or not, diabetes. Now, if you're diabetic and you've got neuropathy, you know what I'm talking about. If you're diabetic and you don't have neuropathy yet, you don't know what I'm talking about yet, but you can get a feel for it by sitting on your leg wrong until it falls asleep. And then just as it starts to wake up and you get this tingling, painful tingling sensation, imagine having that for the rest of your life, all of the time, only getting worse. And then you have a hint of what neuropathy can and will feel like. And obviously you don't want that. And if you can keep that in front of you, rather than a peripheral thing, but it's in front of you, I want to avoid this at all costs, that motivates you to make right choices in terms of eating right and doing the right exercise. So I have patients that completely reverse their diabetes. They do everything right because they're hooked into the things that motivate them. They don't have to think about it. But I have other patients that struggle because they're not hooked into their core desires. So I've shared this many times in the past, but I'll give this example one more time. And for a parent, this is a real easy one to imagine, but if you have children and you imagine that you're walking home and you get close to your house and you realize that your house is on fire and you realize your children are in the house. Now, you're not going to sit outside and debate with yourself, should I go in that house or not? You're going to run through the door with no concern for the cost to you to find your children. And that's called a core desire. You've acted on a core desire. It was subconsciously written. You didn't have to think about it. It was already there. And you have core desires like that are both positive, that pull you forward, and negative, that push you forward. And if you tap into those, they will help you to make the big changes. And you don't have to make big changes overnight. You just need to be moving in the right direction. And as long as you're making progress towards your core desires, your subconscious is happy. It doesn't expect overnight success. It just expects movement in the direction of your core desires. And if you're not moving in the direction of your core desires, you're going to be unhappy. And there's no way to be happy if you're not moving in the direction of your core desires. You might be sort of blah and not depressed, but you're not going to be happy if you're not moving towards your true core desires. And when we treat our bodies without respect, we're not moving towards our core desires. No matter what you think is important to you, deeply written in you is a plan, the blueprint for your life, which is that you need to treat your body with respect in everything you do. That means what you eat, what you drink, what you watch, what you listen to, how much you exercise. These are all critical to being happy, because these are some of the deepest core desires you have, to take care of your body, and yet self-defeating behavior gets in the way. So we tap into self-motivation by tapping into our core desires. And core desires are desires that really motivate us when we think about them, not that something I'd rather have, like I'd rather have $1 million than not. That's not a core desire. So I encourage you to spend a few minutes thinking about this so that you can get in touch with what will motivate you. And then all you need to do is take that motivation and plug into a plan that works. And then it's a done deal. It's only a matter of time, but it's already done that you've accomplished your goal once you plug yourself into a plan that works. So I wish you well and success. God bless and have a good day.